Canvas training. Learn and grow.
So Salesforce objects and fields and Apex. Now, when you log in and you are on the classic homepage, you see a few tabs on the top. This is called the navigation panel. Okay, this is your navigation menu, your Salesforce org navigation menu. So currently there are a lot of objects on my screen. It might be you would be also having quite a lot of them, but 4 or 5 more or less kind of stuff. So this is the UI that we have. Okay. What are these called? Home, chatter, campaigns, leads, account, contact, opportunity, forecast, contracts, orders. All these are Salesforce objects. All these are the objects which are coming in, which are which have been created. Since it's a software as a service, there is a pre-built application, a ground level pre-built application for a basic CRM to exist. So these are all a part of that pre-built application. So if we want, we can leverage these. If we want, we can create our own and then we can play around with those. So it's completely left at our discretion that how do we want to use it. So what are objects basically? Now, for example, let me take an example. How data capturing works mostly, it works something like this. So we have something kind of Excel sheets here, and suppose we have to capture this information of all the participants over here in this call. So how do I do it? I do it something like this: serial number. I do it with say name, classes attended. This is how I capture. If like suppose my team asks me on a daily basis that can you send me the strength on a daily basis, that how many guys are joining and what is, like, it's a kind of attendance register that I'm maintaining. So I'll say why not? So I will do it something like this. Say I have Chris here. This is the second class. So I have Kronal. So this is again his second class. So I have K, which is like she just attended half of the session. So I would say, well, say 1.5. So this is how what I'm doing is I'm just maintaining a data set. Now tomorrow when we connect, I will just update this classes attended by +1 +1 +1. Okay, so how is it actually in the real time? Even I'm not sure how many of you would have this exposure, but for those who are related to IT in some or the other way, capturing data in Excel sheets is the most common way of capturing data as on date. And it has been since like previous, I would say 10-15 years. So this is how it has been always. The data capture is like it will be say Microsoft Access. Access is another tool which is somewhat like a business tool, which is you require to capture data and build relationships. Over here, this is Microsoft Excel, which also primarily used to capture the objects. So over here, you see I have sheets at the bottom. So suppose I give it the name as student, or I give it the name as participant. I have some more information to be collected. Something again, now some details about each of them. So I come over here, I give it the name as something like this, and then I start giving the details like this: first name, last name, age, gender, contact, your email or phone, whatever. So this is like if I want to maintain a more detailed sheet, I can do this. This is another sheet. Now this will be having some another purpose completely. So it will be something like Krunal, age, anything that I want to enter, gender, male, contact, abc@abc.com. So whichever way I want to create this sheet, like by the number of participants, I can just keep on filling this information over the period of time. This can be used for multiple purposes. Suppose I'm starting off with a new lightning batch and I want to inform you guys. So it might be that it's 3 months today and some of you are interested in going into deep diving into the concepts of lightning and you want to do that. So I want to do a campaigning basically. So I want to send out this information. So I can just open my sheet. I can refer all the contacts from here and I can contact you. So this is what we are doing is this is the traditional way of capturing data. So over here, just always remember whatever correlation we'll be taking into Salesforce, which we'll be taking by Excel, because I personally feel this is easy to remember. Okay, because most of us have encountered the Excel sheet. So it's easy to remember with an example of the Microsoft Excel. So this is how we are collecting data. This is how we are capturing data. And most of the industries are today as of now. So a lot of industries who have a lot of reliance onto it. So they depend largely on Microsoft Excel. Now, getting back to Salesforce, how do we do it? So over here, you saw that the sheet one or participants has a different columns. The column headers are different. If I come to the participant details, the column headers are different, certainly, because the purpose or the information that they are capturing are both different. How do I do it in Salesforce? To do it in Salesforce, what I do is I will create a custom object. You see, there is, if I open any of the standard objects, say accounts, I click on the new button. there are some attributes that will pop up that I can capture. What is the name of the account that you want to capture? Is there any parent account that you want to link it to? What is the account number of this account that you are opening account, website that you are trying to use, fax, phone, which industry it is, what type, what rating. So this is the default or the standard object that has been given to us. This helps us capture the some basic info which Salesforce thought that okay, it sold the Salesforce application to banks, it sold it to agricultural unit, it sold it to manufacturing units, and then it thought to create a generic CRM solution for all three of them. So Salesforce created some kind of solution which is like, or whatever values you see over here, it might be that they are useful for you, it might be they are not useful for you. So depending upon the usage, whether or not you think it's useful or it's not useful, so you can simply keep them or you can remove them from the UI. It's completely up to you. There is also a choice if you want to add more fields, like for capturing these values, these are called fields. All of these are called fields. So if you want to add some more custom fields, for example, Salesforce has given you this much info. Now your business works in a completely different way. You need some more info to be captured. That is absolutely fine. Your business should not be restricted by the system. Software as a service means it gives you a basic application to start using it for your business from day one, but it doesn't restrict you that you do not enhance the functionalities that are given by Salesforce. So over here, what we'll do is if you want to add more fields, you can do that. If you want to make more selections, you want to allow more freedom that, okay, I want to capture some more info which is pertaining to my industry. So you can do all of that over here. You can create the custom fields, you can play around with it. But first we'll focus upon how do we go about. Now, this is the info that I want to capture. I want to capture the first name and I want to capture the last name. So I come back over here, I go to setup. From after going into setup, I have this quick find solution over here. I type objects. Under create, I have the option of objects. I come over here. I click on a new custom object. You guys will not be having a single record over there, so no worries. So just click on new object. Now this is the place where you declare the object. And object, what it is, object is a place where you create the data. So over here, this participants and participant details, these two sheets are you're using to capture the data. The purpose of both the sheets are different. So similarly, these will act as the objects in Salesforce, participants and participant details. So suppose I create one object over here, participants, plural label, participants. Any description that you want to give? No. For now, let's not talk about these optional features, just keep them checked. As and when we come to these will be controlling different features at a later stage. So I just keep them enabled and all I keep whatever is the default values, I do nothing except for there's a checkbox which says launch new custom tab wizard after saving this custom object. So I just check this checkbox and I click on the save button. What it will do is it will help me create a tab for it. So I'm creating an object, but I do not have this tab. How do I access it and I go inside and I do something? So for that, I have to create a tab also. So I come up on this page. I will select any particular tab style, say then I click on next. I keep the settings to default, the remaining ones. I scroll down. This is a page for permissions, which will be coming in class 4. So we'll be discussing more about these, but for now, we just keep it default. Whatever by default is selected, we just keep it. We just keep on doing next and save, next and save. So we have created a object and we have also created a tab with it. Okay. So we have done two things. This is the details of the object that we have created. And as you can see in the API name, there is a underscore underscore C. So this is a suffix that is used and it displays that this is a custom object. Custom object means an object which is created by us. It was not given to us by Salesforce by default. Like account, leads, campaigns, opportunities, contacts, all these are pre-existing objects. They do not need a underscore underscore C in their name because those are standard objects. They will just be called accounts, contacts, opportunities. But when it comes to the custom objects, they need to be referred by the suffix underscore underscore C, which displays that these are the custom objects. Okay, so we have our object now created. So we have a new object in place. So now basically what you will be required to do is to create this object in a similar way. Not as of now, you can focus on the session for now, but this is something that you will be required to do. Okay, so you will be creating a object And over here, since my UI is very crowded, so you do not see it over here, but usually when you will be creating your first object, you will be able to see it on the navigation panel. If the navigation panel is full, there is this drop down that appears, which shows those additional objects. So I have got, you see, participants over here. Since my navigation panel is full, so I have got these participants added over here. So I click on participants. Now you see it's a similar kind of UI that opens on opening any of these standard objects. So I opened leads, so it is showing leads home and some recent leads. This. So over here it is showing participants home and some recent participants. So I click on the new button. It is asking me for a participant name for now. So suppose I enter Chris and I click on the save button. So it has taken the name. It is showing some default information about me that I created this record. But this is not exactly solving my purpose, because if you see my Excel sheet, I had to capture something unique like this, like serial number kind of stuff, or at least I have to have this field, which is called classes attended. I have to capture this. So this is again an attribute that we are having. So name is something which is one column over here, you see, and classes attended is something which is another column over here. So what we'll be doing is these columns, they act as fields in Salesforce. So what we are going to do now is we are going to create the another field over here. So this is called the quick access menu. This expand collapse, this is a quick access menu. So from here I click on view fields. Custom fields and relationships is the name of the section. I click on new over here and I select a number because classes attended is going to be a number. So I select number, I click on next. Field label, as we decided, classes attended. I'll keep the remaining information as is, and we will be discussing about all of these, so no worries. Length is just what the length that you can enter up to. So I don't think it will be more than 2 digits. So 99 a max. So I just limited it like that. The how many characters can it hold? Required unique external ID, required simple. It is required. You will not be allowed to save the record without this information. I don't want to restrict like that, so I will just keep it relaxed. Unique, obviously this is info that cannot be unique. So classes attended, it can be clashing. So there can be several guys who are attending their second class today. So this is certainly not going to be unique. For fields like email ID, suppose there I can mark it as unique, so that system should control that I'm not creating the records with the same email ID. It can't be. I cannot have 15 students or participants in my call and all of them are having the same email ID. That cannot be the case. Email ID, phone number, these have to be unique. So I will mark those fields as unique, but over here it's all fine. I just go to next. You see, this is a very simple wizard. Step by step, the stuff is happening. So we are on step 3. Just this is again something related to the settings. I just make it visible to all for now, and I go to next. This is something we'll discuss when we discuss more about the profiles and roles and the various security model given by Salesforce. And then I click on save. So there is a custom field, you see in the custom fields and relationship section, I have a custom field created which is called classes attended. And again, as you can see the nomenclature, these are the standard fields on the top. You can see name, owner, created by, last modified by. Okay, these are like, although they are under the header of field name, but these are also the API names only through which you refer these whenever it comes to the backend processes, the Apex and all. But for now, we'll keep it like this. These are the standard fields which were created by default. They do not have any underscore C with their name. But over here, you see, I created a custom field. It is again being referenced by a underscore C, which depicts that this is a custom and something that Salesforce did not create for you. You created it custom yourself. So I just go back to my participant, which was Chris, and I refresh it. You see, there is one more field added to the UI now. So I can go back, edit, and I can mark the complete info that I wanted and save. Now this is something which is serving my purpose. So I have one object in place and it is capturing the information that I wanted to. If I go back to my Excel sheet, this is the info that I captured. But again, the problem is this serial number stuff. This will become a problem for me for later on. Suppose I have a million records over here. So there can be many Chris, many Krunal, and many LK. So how do I identify that which one is which? This is the identifier that I had, because there will be only one record with serial number 1. There will be only one record with serial number 2. There will be only one record with serial number 3. This is going to be unique. That is the reason it's the serial number. So my system needs to help me with some such information which goes unique with all the records. Currently there is nothing. If I create one more record over here, suppose I go to participants once again, I click on new, I create another record and I save it. So you see what is happening is I am able to create the records. There are two records which are created. I click on the go button. There are two records which are created. Okay, but again the problem is the goal is not completely matched because that unique identifier is still missing. This 1, 2, 3, 4. So I will do something different this time. And what I will do is I will make this record have a unique identifier created by Salesforce by default. Okay, so this participant name, this can be a serial number basically. So how do we do it? I go back to my object, I click on edit. So while creating the object, there is a section called enter record name, label and format. We kept it default initially while we were creating the object. Over here, what we will do is we will change it a little bit. Instead of name, I will give it participant serial number, and I make it, instead of text I select as auto number. So display format, just simple. I'll keep it like this, no complexities, and the starting number is suppose 1, and I save it. Participant serial number, it needs to have these curly braces basically. These are called the flower brackets and it needs to have those flower brackets. So flower brackets will basically help it identify the format. So now we have made a slight change, and to view that slight change, I will open participants in another tab and I create a new record this time. You see the name field is missing this time. Earlier there was a participant name that I entered and the classes attended, but now that name field is not here. Now it's only classes attended. This is again something I don't want. I definitely want to capture the name over here. So I go back to the custom fields. I create a new field over here. Again a text one. I select a text this time because name is going to be a text field. So participant name, length that I want to give. So by default, sorry, the maximum is 255 characters. So I've given it the maximum allowed length. I click on next. Again, some default settings. I just make it visible to all. Next, next, and save. So there's another field which is called participant name that I just created. I come back on this UI and I refresh. You see, there's another field that got added. But at the same time, my old record remains as is, just the name has been changed. So what I'll do is I will go to my new record. I'll create my new record this time. So I have Clinton with me. He is also attending his second class, and I click on the save button. Okay. So you see some unique identifier that is auto generated. So this is something that I can see is getting auto generated. I try to edit the record that was by the name Chris. You again see this is something locked. So over here also we have this small lock icon available. So this is primarily all about having the switches between auto number and this. The second disadvantage of using auto number is, suppose I started creating records, the default was 1. You can see over here I have reached till 100. There was a call I received from my manager. He said that the entries that you have created 50, 51 and 52, those 3 entries are wrong. Delete them. So I delete them from the system. Now, if I want to recreate those entries, because those were wrong entries, suppose there was a typo error, I placed the name wrong or I did something over here. So what I need to do primarily is, suppose I have to change something. Now I couldn't handle, or I want to do some updates. I want to fit them at the old location. I deleted 50, 50 and 52. I want them located at the old location. So that is something not available. So if you have a auto number field and it is generating, it will keep the sequence going on in +1 fashion. The 3 new records that we create, we deleted 50, 51, 52, but when we create them, it will go as 101, 102, 103. So we cannot go back on the numbers. So those are two considerations of using the auto number field. So this is it. Now this record, it suffices my requirement. So if I see over here, so I have a unique identifier, I have a unique identifier, I have the field called classes attended, I have the field called name. It's all done. There are some undesired fields on the UI, which I understand, but we will see how we remove or add anything on the UI. So this is all configurable through just simple drag and drop. I can control what I want to see. There are some buttons which I don't like, so I could have got rid of them. So, and I will. well. So once we start discussing the UI part of it, we will be doing all of this stuff. Coming back to the other question of auditing, now suppose there is some kind of check that happened, and now this is my illegitimate data. Okay, so this will be coming into eyes of everyone. So in real time, what is the practice that we follow for it is, first of all, if you have less number of records, so it is recommended to delete those and recreate those. It is not necessary that you do everything manually. Okay, guys. So there are tools that we use, and it's hardly, if you have approximately 5 million records that you have to do like that, it should not take more than 5 minutes to do it. So that is the tools that we have, official Salesforce tool for data uploading. So you understand, like it's not a big task that I am trying to do. It's like if I have to recreate this data, it's just hardly a matter of 5-10 minutes. I can do that. So that is one way of doing it. The second approach, that is the recommended approach of doing it, is you have a record, okay, over here. So we have some basic info created. I have a button called clone. I just simply click on clone. I did not create the Chris record. I click on save. So now I have the Chris record created. Now I can very successfully go back and I can delete the record, this one, because I have this record cloned already. So similarly for Kronal, I come over here to his record. I just simply click on clone. I put his name over here, save, and the old one is redundant now. The old record is creating nothing but a mere redundancy in the system. So I click on delete, I delete it. So now I have everything symmetric and I have everything aligned. But this match when data is less. So this is the basics about having a object in place, some playing with the different fields that I have to capture. So by fields, I mean that I can also capture the attributes. So by fields, I mean attributes. So that's it for today. Just go through it once, and thank you for joining in. Bye bye.
Jan Bass Training. Learn and grow.